Hi everyone, and welcome to another short interview for our partners involved with Middle East Investment Panorama. I'm delighted to have with me today Ed Lawrence, who is Head of Middle East at Columbia Threadneedle Investments. So Ed, how was your Eid? Hopefully all is well.
All very well, thank you, Nigel, and great to be here.
Great, thank you for your time. A couple of quick questions. First one is, how long has your business actually been physically present in the Middle East, and what sort of institutional investors do you serve?
Thanks, Nigel. Well, this is actually the 10th year of Columbia Threadneedle having a regional presence here. We're based in the DIFC, and we have deep-rooted, long-standing relationships, predominantly with sovereign wealth funds and some of the larger investors in the region. With the build-out of our institutional team since my arrival in September last year, we hope to expand this dialogue beyond this, and not only with regards to our institutional client base, but also the range of investment teams at Columbia Threadneedle whose capabilities we're highlighting locally. One of the reasons I think that it's viable is that we have a very strong range of capabilities that are recognized by our client base in North America and in Europe, predominantly there, but perhaps not so much here. For instance, we have very strong global teams, global equity teams, and in emerging markets and in Japan as well. And they're probably, whilst exceptionally strong, they're probably not as well known as perhaps some of our European equity capabilities and our North American equity capabilities. Within other areas of our platform that we probably will focus on a little bit more would be fixed income, where we have a sizable fixed income platform, which is delivering exceptional risk-adjusted returns across a variety of strategies, and also our capabilities in US and UK private real estate, which are world-class.
Great. Well, thank you very much for that. And final question is, how are your clients adapting to COVID-19, and which sort of strategies are on their radar screens at the moment?
Sure. Well, without talking specifically about any one client and talking in more general terms, it's clear that clients are watching the performance of their existing managers very closely indeed. And they're spending time to understand their existing portfolios and are really confirming that they are happy with the way that they have performed, those managers have performed, but also that those managers are what I would call true to style. For example, in the equity space, clients are keen to be able to identify that if they have a growth manager, they're keen to know that the growth manager is performing as a growth manager should perform. The same would go for value or other areas of the market as well. And this is a very important part as you construct a portfolio with different managers doing different things, that those managers actually do what you expect them to do during times of market volatility. In other areas, it'd be fair to say that interest in alternative and often illiquid asset classes remains very strong. But actually recently and interestingly, since the market sell-off, there have been some significant opportunities in liquid markets, especially in credit, where sophisticated investors with liquidity have been able to capitalize on market dislocations and market events and put money to work quickly, hopefully to take advantage of those opportunities. And finally, just one observation would be clearly that distressed debt is an area of interest, but again, that's for reasons that are pretty understandable in this current climate.
Great, well, that's fantastic. Thanks for your insights, and I look forward to catching up with you very soon, so thank you.
Thanks, Nigel, a pleasure.
I'm now delighted to have with me Andrew Harvey, who's a client portfolio manager at Columbia Threadneedle. So welcome and thank you for your time today, Andrew.
Well, thank you for having me, Nigel. Very happy to be here.
Great, thank you. Just a couple of quick questions. Our annual study, Middle East Investment Panorama, which is conducted amongst financial advisors, confirmed that global equity strategies is one of their preferred asset classes over the next year or so. So, Andrew, could you just tell us a bit about Columbia Threadneedle's global equity offering and the team behind it?
Of course. So I'm part of the global equity team at Columbia Threadneedle. I sit in a 13-person team based in London. And we're responsible for around about $11 billion of assets in various different strategies within the global equity space. I guess all of those are underpinned by a focus on quality. So we like to invest in high quality growing businesses. Now, the background of the team is we've been running global equity strategies since the late 90s. We set the team up in 2003 with the launch of our flagship Global Select strategy, so the longest running strategy we have. And we've basically innovated from there, adding new strategies that build on the same philosophy. I guess one of those for the region would be Global Focus, which we launched 7 years ago now. And more recently, again, of interest in the region would be the Sharia product that obviously builds on our investment philosophy, but within a Sharia compliant framework.
Great, thank you. And what do you look for in the type of companies in which you invest?
Well, I mentioned quality and growth. So really, we are quality growth investors. What we're trying to find are those market leading companies that can establish or build a superior competitive advantage and market share and compound out their growth and returns sustainably over time. So really, we're looking for those winners out there. They're really high quality businesses, typically with very stable growth, high returns, management teams allocating capital well, and typically a very strong balance sheet as well. So our edge is not necessarily in the short term, but really thinking over the long term, who will be the long term winners.
Okay, but because there's such a large universe out there, how do you actually manage to keep on top of all the opportunities?
Well, it's a fair question, given the joy of being part of Columbia Threadneedle, which is obviously a very large organisation. In total, we have about 450 billion plus of assets under management. Just over half of that is in equities, with some 200 equity-focused investment professionals across the globe. So I guess think of us as a global equity team based in London, trying to draw on the best ideas from across that network, picking up the best ideas from our colleagues in Asia, through to those covering regional strategies across Europe, through to North America. So we have a very strong depth of research. And I guess importantly, investors who think like us and have a similar philosophy to us.
Right, okay. But global equities is obviously a very competitive space. So how does your offering, in your opinions, make you stand out from your peer group?
Well, I guess it kind of comes down to a few of those aspects I've spoken about already. I think firstly, one of the things that we do is we focus a lot on competitive advantage and long-term sustainability of that. So we're not in the market of screening out companies that maybe have had low returns or low growth in the past. Our job really is to get inside the mind, understand the management teams, to really think about the future, 18 months, nature of our business, that is one edge. I think the other point really would be the depth of research capability. Many other operate in silos. I think one of the beauties about Columbia Threadneedle is this is a genuinely collaborative approach. The management team at the exec level has been very keen to invest in our capability and our infrastructure to do that. So it really is that kind of depth of research capability, that local market knowledge, that sharing of ideas that gives us the ability to focus on a company's long-term competitive advantage and gives us conviction in those names that we have.
Great, thank you. And just finally, how's your performance been, let's say, over the last couple of months?
Well, that obviously has been a very difficult period for global equity markets. We've seen the MSCI Equity drop. It's the second largest quarterly fall over the first quarter, followed by the second largest monthly rise in April over the past 30 years. So difficult period. Fortunately for us, we fared very well on a relative basis. We're outperforming our benchmark indices across the different strategies that I mentioned, and we're ranking in the top quartile of our peer group. So I guess importantly, in the rising market that you saw earlier in the year, we captured the growth. But the nature of the quality businesses that we like saw them be a bit more resilient in the downturn, and has helped us outperform. And I point to this being a factor or a feature of our approach to investing, and the profile of the strategies that we've run, whether the global select strategy dating back 15 years plus, global focus over the last 7, or indeed Sharia over the last
Okay, great. Well,
3
congratulations
years.
on your recent performance, and thank you very much for your
Most
time
welcome.
today.
Thank you for having me.
And my final guest is Jonathan Feely, who's the Regional Sales Manager at Columbia Threadneedle. So welcome, Jonathan. Hopefully all is well.
Hi, Nigel. Yes, good with me. Yourself?
Yeah, all good. Thank you very much. So just a couple of quick questions. I know you know the Middle East very well. So first question is, how many funds does your business actually have registered with ESCA at the moment?
Yes, hi, Nigel. Currently, we have 5 funds registered, and we have the 3 global funds that Andrew Harvey spoke about. So that is a Global Sharia Equity Fund, the Global Select Fund, Global Focus Fund, and we also have a European Equity Fund called European Select. Now, all those funds have a very similar investment philosophy, utilising Porter's 5 forces framework to identify companies with sustainable competitive advantage, and all of those funds have performed exceptionally well in recent market conditions and over the longer term. We also have one other fund, which is a multi-asset income fund, and that fund targets a 5% income, investing in high-quality equities and fixed income securities. And again, that fund has been able to achieve an income in excess of 5% every year since launch, with no more than 50% of equity volatility.
Great.
So they are currently the 5 funds that we have registered.
Okay, good. And what are your immediate plans for wholesale distribution in the Middle East?
Well, I started to look after wholesale Middle East in Q4 2019, so relatively new to the market. However, I've been with the business for 13 years in wholesale. So my immediate plans are to ensure that I'm engaging with key investment professionals within regional and local banks, IFAs, life companies and platforms. It is important to ensure that they understand not only the 5 funds we currently have registered, but also our wider investment capabilities. We are a large asset manager, managing in the region of $430 billion, and therefore we have strong product across all asset classes. In addition, we also have an in-house investment team and a solutions team that can bespoke client requirements and solutions for individual client needs. And I'm currently working with that team to look to bring some FMPs to the Middle East market. So again, I'm keen to engage with investment professionals who are interested in FMPs. And I think lastly, it's very important that I ensure that clients are receiving the appropriate levels of service and communication. So I'm currently working closely with a marketing team and client servicing team to ensure this happens.
Great. Well, thank you very much for your time today. I look forward to seeing you in person again soon. So for those of you watching, please remember to share and like. So thank you.